Let's find out what's in the feed. What's in the feed this week? Let's find out what's in the feed. Welcome to What's in the Feed. It is the show that is brought to you by you and for you. It's dedicated to we the people. We're going to do it weekly, sometimes twice. We tune in to the X feed and see what's in the news. We play the videos and show the comments, and all the contents is provided by you. That's the way the show works. Now, we have deviated a little bit from the formula in the past couple of weeks because we had to get rid of a couple of trolls. And I will not mention the name. That shall not be mentioned because that person has been dispatched. We're all a community here. And the thing that I've learned is that when you have a community such as the community that we have on X, which elevates our voices on the platform to be able to reach out and touch people. You know, I stated on the last show the importance of us, the little guys, the people who want to get the truth out there. When Elon got the platform, he allowed for us to be able to have a bigger voice. And now we see some of our larger, normally we would consider mainstream media, people fall into the wayside. And we see the example of what's going on with Candace. We've mentioned that several weeks in a row, the ongoing exposure of Candace Owens and her grift. You know, we want to believe in people and we want to have faith that the information these people are providing is valid and good. You know, so it hurts that much more when we find out that the people that we thought we could have trust in, we have discovered are not on the up and up. That being said, ironically, this week is the end of an era, and that is that Infowars has been officially shut down. So Alex and his crew had their last show. I believe that was on the Sunday show, and Infowars is no more. Now, anybody that was paying attention to what was going on with Infowars, Alex has been fighting a lawsuit with the families of the shooting. And they've been trying to take him down for a very, very long time. And this thing has been dragged out and drug on. And finally, it comes to its fruition where they have to shut their doors down. Now, this is not going to stop Alex from continuing his show. Very similar to Tucker Carlson. He has brought his show, which was pretty much an independent show anyways, when all of the radio stations dropped him from his mainstream category that he was in. He was sort of going pirate anyway. So we all understand that this really isn't going to be much of a change. Now, me personally, I've commented on the fact that I have jumped off of anything Alex Jones related. When Alex Jones called for the 25th, that was officially when I had to jump ship. He spent years and years and years being the biggest champion of the president. And I'm really starting to find out a little bit more facts, and this video that I'm going to play may shed a little bit of light on it. I mean, it's quite long, but I think that it does shed light on the situation. So I find it valid, even though normally I'm playing short clips because we don't want to give too much content from other hosts and such, because, that's just lazy show running and lazy journalism. But I think that this one is valid. Pete Santilli, who is a very close provider for and co-host and worked, I believe, for Infowars for a small amount of time, or worked with them, had a video that he posted up about the end of the Infowars saga. So let me play this, and just for a little bit of context, there's a belief that Alex Jones had been co-opted, or he had been basically blackmailed. They had something on him, and that's why he changed his tune. This blackmail thing that these, I don't know what you want to call them, dark agencies, dark forces, deep state. I mean, there's a million names for them. They tend to do these blackmail campaigns. And I felt like the change in Alex's whole platform and what he believed in changed on. I just noticed the whole thing changed, and I had to drop any sort of association with any information that was coming out of there, because I still support President Trump. I will always support President Trump. And my analogy is a very, very simple one, and that is that you got your best friend and you've got your friends, and you're in a bar, and that friend gets into a fight. Even if he's wrong, you still stick up for your friend. We can't be the judges of other people's actions and intents, but we can stick up, and we can wait to see the results of what happens in these sorts of situations. So Alex calling for the 25th was just, that was it. That was a road too far for me to follow. But I'm going to play this video for you, and we'll make a comment on the other side.
And the real bizarre thing, and can you still hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, perfect. I can hear you perfect. No, I'm listening. I'm with bated breath here.
The bizarre thing, and I got this from a top-level, long-time employee, a totally different contact from anybody else that heard from.
Right.
That Anthony won't let anyone talk to Alex alone, that he is by Alex's side or waiting just outside the door if anyone wants to talk to Alex in any room. It's like Anthony is like Alex's handler.
What the heck?
Yeah. So bizarre. And it's just, he won't let anyone talk to Alex privately. So no one, like this person that told us this today, was trying to figure out a way that they could get Alex alone to say something to him, because no one can get him alone anymore.
What? So if they wanted to go speak to Alex about Gucciardi, that won't happen because he's right there.
They can't do it because Gucciardi is constantly by his side.
Wow. And Alex doesn't see that?
No. Or, I mean, there's a couple of theories, either A, mind controlled, or B, he's got so much dirt on him that he's got no choice.
Can you imagine that?
I know. It's so bizarre. I never would have imagined this situation, but that certainly helps explain why Anthony is still there.
Yeah, because internally the push would be that people would bust the door down and say, Alex, dude, what are you doing? And they'd start working Alex, and right?
That's actually the consensus. That's what I'm hearing. Is that
I'm going to stop the video right here because it's really painful. Alex has gone down the rabbit hole, and he's gone back to drinking. It's obvious on air. It's obvious in his unhinged tweets. It's obvious in his response to this particular video. But the major consensus is that something's going on with Alex, and that Alex has changed his tune. And I won't be part of it. So Infowars was on for 27 years. And it was a mainstream of conservative news. And it was a source of information that we all should really take respectfully, and that I gained a lot of knowledge from. I will never disrespect Alex as being a dumb man. He is a smart individual. But he has got a big dose of crazy in him. So that being said, Alex, and I left a comment that was very simple and pointed, is that good luck on your journey, your new journey, but I am not going to follow. Now I'm going to play this video by one of my favorites, MAGA Meg. I don't really give her as much credit as I should on her sheer volume of great information, because her presentation is so entertaining that I think that some people look at it and go, this is wacky and weird and it's funny, but it's always informative. Let me run this one for you.
I cannot believe this. And I said I was taking the day off, but nuh-uh. Yeah, I mean, I'm a hot mess, but remember this guy? You know, showed up at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, tried to take our president's life, and others. Well, his lawyer is saying that he should be allowed to be out on bail because he's not a danger to others. He has no priors. He's never done anything bad. Are you freaking kidding me? Have you read his manifesto? I just had to hop on here and see what y'all thought about this. He's a danger to MAGA and the president. If you think he won't try again, you are a loony lefty, not a snaky lawyer. What do y'all think? Should he be allowed to be out and free? I think I need to fix my hair, and I think he should be put under the jail. That isn't me. I can.
Yeah, I agree with you, Meg. Really funny. And this goes into a story that popped up today where the judge in this particular case actually apologized to this guy. And I could not believe it. He apologized for the guy's treatment, apparently in jail. This is unacceptable, and I don't know how these attempted assassins, these dangerous people, are being apologized to by the very people that are supposed to dole out justice to them. When I saw the story, which I don't have bookmarked, so I don't have the video of the judge saying that he felt like the treatment of this individual in lockup was not justified after what they did to all of the people on January 6th. They buried them under the jail. We have a judge that is showing sympathy to an attempted assassin. I know that now that a lot more has come out since we initially reported on this, showing this guy looking like John Wick, loaded up with all kinds of artillery, clearly on a rampage to kill people, multiple people. There's a manifesto that points out just exactly how many people he was targeting and who he was going to kill. But we got a lawyer that's going to come in and say, just because this guy never committed a crime, that he should be let out, or he should be, he should be bailed out. What is the world coming to? I mean, this two-tiered system of justice that I thought was going to be gone that still exists is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. And I know that you guys all agree. You know, the last week's episode, we mentioned this two-tier justice system. I get just a little bit of an aside. A couple of weeks ago, or a week or so ago, Erica Kirk did a heartfelt response to all of the hate that she's been getting, all of the demonization that she's been getting. And that hit the news, so you all know about it. But in a Drewski type comedy skit, I can't remember who the person was. It was a leftist, host or something, a model or something, did another one of these disrespectful imitations of Erica Kirk. And I thought it was tasteless and it wasn't funny. And I do not get and still do not understand what this whole demonization of Erica Kirk is. I really don't understand it. I am not part of the Candace candy cult. We've already mentioned that I am team Laura Loomer on this one. And to never get on Laura Loomer's bad side, there are some videos here that we will be popping up here about the continuing Candace Owens exposure. And I'm not even going to call it a beef anymore, because it was a first round knockout by Laura. But Laura continues to dig up a bunch of facts. So the justice system here, when it comes to these people with these assassination attempts, I think the guy in Mar-a-Lago got life. We're still seeing what's transpiring in the case with the Pennsylvania shooting and assassination attempt. But this is starting to get ridiculous, and it's starting to get to a point where we have empowered. And what I said with the indictment of Comey, I started to notice this come and get me attitude that we got from the left, where everyone started to point out, or everyone started to post these 86-47 things in an attempt to kind of flood the market with, yeah, it's just an innocuous term and we're all going to say it and you can't get us all. And I commented on a post yesterday that this has emboldened these people and that we need to set some examples. There needs to be some major prosecutions of all of these people that are justifying death upon political adversaries, because that's what they're doing. We went through all those years of the legal prosecution of the president, and now we've emboldened a whole group of people to think that it is okay and it is justified for people to be killed because you do not agree with them politically. Now I'm going to say that again. There's a group of people that think that it is okay to kill your political adversaries. It's to a point of madness that is hard to deal with. And we are getting no help from the mainstream media or any of the political pundits on the left side. These people dream, wish, and hope that they wake up and they find out that something happened to the president. Instead of cheering for the United States, instead of cheering for the country that we all love, that we are blessed to be in, these people wish for failure. Anytime there is a success, they find a reason to negatively reflect on the good. The cognitive dissonance in a part of our community is really disturbing, and we need to start addressing this. People need to start going to jail, and people need to start having fear instilled in them that they cannot just go out and do and say whatever they want to say if it's in a threatening manner. I'm not going to be that guy who says that I agree in limiting people's speech, but they always use that term on the other side that you can't scream fire in a packed movie theater, right? Well, there's things that we find universally despicable, and that's wishing death on somebody. This is the lack of religion that the left has. You do not have any value for a human being's life. And I know that it's been said a million times, as much as we couldn't stand many of the former presidents, we never wished death on them. No one ever wished death on Biden. Let's face it, he was half dead most of the time he was in office. We never wished death on him. And even when the guy got his cancer, no one wished death on him. These aren't the kind of people that we are. But we're enabling a very large group of very, very sick people, because they're sick. If you could see my comments, you'd see how sick these people are. It just needs to stop. Dan Bongino, one of my favorites. I'm going to play this. We'll comment on it in a second.
We have a few months left with a majority only on the Senate where we could move on just massive regulatory reform, tax reform, economic policies, school choice, pro-life. We could do it all. And they don't want to do it because they're like, well, you know, then the Democrats might do it to us. They've already said they're going to do it to us. We might as well, in SWOT analysis, take advantage of an opportunity to mitigate the threat now, because the threat's not going anywhere. You don't believe me? Listen to President Trump on it. Check this out.
If the Democrats ever get a shot, which probably, based on history, sometime they will use it the first minute of the first hour, and they will execute all of the bad things. 21 justices, you know, they really like 21, and they really want to have D.C. and Puerto Rico become states. That would mean automatic 4 senators go into the Democrat column, and there's not even a chance that they don't do it and do it immediately. Now, with that knowledge, because you could argue whether it's good or bad, but I don't think it's that much of an argument, frankly. But you could argue, with that knowledge that they're going to do it immediately, why wouldn't you do it as a Republican? Unless you have bad motives almost. But if we did it, we could pass one bill after the other. We could pass laws and acts and things that we never even dreamt of passing. And you know what else? We wouldn't lose for 50 years.
Yeah.
You know, I made this point, and I played the video here from Mr. Bongino simply to point out that we have had the power more than a year. Nobody was on the forefront of the push for the SAVE Act more than yours truly. I actually petitioned hundreds of accounts to relentlessly bombard the Republican Party, senators in each state, and John Thune himself relentlessly to pass this act. Why the SAVE Act is still up doesn't make any sense. But I think that Dan points out a bigger situation here. And the bigger situation here is that's not the only thing that we haven't passed. We should be passing bills and resolutions of all kinds, nonstop, to change the direction of this country. We all know how this country was on the verge and on the brink of utter destruction. That is why we so wholeheartedly went out and voted for Trump to get him in so that we could get this change. It's ridiculous to me that we're sitting around and that we're waiting to figure out why these people are not taking action. But a good example of why we should be doing this, and I didn't get refuted. This thing popped up on my feed, and I thought it was, a joke, and I thought it was, one of those Onion parodies, but I do not see Grok refuting this. Do we want to become this? Do we want to become the UK? Here's the video for you.
Excuse me!
30 UK cops just arrested a mannequin because it hurt Muslim feelings. This is the clown world Britain has become. Plastic dolls are now a threat to Islam, but grooming gangs got a free pass for years. Wake up, Britain, you're being replaced. Drop your thoughts below before they ban this too.
Thank you!
Do you see this? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and we got to take this seriously. They are seriously doing a perp walk for an inanimate object. This is where the UK is at, folks. This is where we could be. This is a group of, it looks like there's 20 cops here, and there's 3 paddy wagons for a mannequin. And these people wake up in the morning to go to work and take this shit seriously. This is not who we want to become as a country. I don't know how I can be any more, steadfast with the way that I'm telling you that we really need to be paying attention to what's going on in the world today. Because if we continue to let the Democrats have their way, they're going to get back in power, and this kind of thing will be happening. Where we've got a mannequin that offends Muslims, and they're doing a perp walk on a plastic mannequin. Do you guys like your bacon? I like my bacon. I'm not going to stop eating my bacon. This is where it starts. Speaking of bacon, let me play this video for you real quick.
Ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I can't do this. They don't take it for none of the chips. None of the chips. None of the cake.
I won't even play it because the poor lady probably doesn't want any more airtime that she's already got. But this is a continuation of a couple of different videos that I know I particularly played, and I find a very, I don't know, a joy in it. I was going to say a sick joy in it, but a joy in this. I'm a hardworking guy, and I got to pay for every ounce of food out of my pocket, out of cash. Now, I grew up poor, and I grew up on food stamps, so I can understand needing food. But the new outrage, or not even the outrage, just the shock of these people when they go to shop and they find out that they can't buy junk food anymore, to me is just, it's pleasing. I really find a little bit of joy in it. Not that anyone would ever go hungry. Let's not get it twisted. These people can still buy food. They can still buy beverages, but they just got to buy healthy things, which would encourage, in my mind, I would think would encourage you to want to work in order to be able to afford the luxuries of life. That's how it should be. We work hard for our 40 hours of vacation. We work hard for our backyard barbecues on the 4th of July. We work hard to make sure that there's gifts under the tree at Christmas for the kids. It's the American way. It's how we've always been. We've gotten into a culture of give me everything for free. And when you do that, it does not motivate a human being to want to overcome or to improve their place. I've seen a lot of friends. I've had a lot of friends, even to this day, that are well past the point of having kids that are school age, that are still dependent upon the system. There's a point in time where you cannot catch back up on your life, and it's really sad. And you're getting into your 30s and your 40s, and you have no job experience because you've been on the government dole your whole life. You cannot reinvent yourself. There are people that are in a situation that there's no longer an option to get out of. Any motivation that we can give to people to get them off of government assistance should be looked at as a positive thing. And that's how I look at this. I find it amusing, but I also think that it is necessary, especially for a lot of the people who come to this country illegally because they know that they're going to get the finer things in life and they're not going to have to work for them. It's human nature to be lazy. It's human nature to not want to have to work for what you get. Heck, if you couldn't get it for free, then why would you work for it, right? And, that's my whole point on it. Now, a couple of videos popped up this week. One of the videos that I'm going to play here in parental advisory is suggested. When I play some of Andre Williams' posts, they are 100% spot on, but it may not be, the delivery may not be for everyone. But this, to me, I found more sad than entertaining or funny. Let's watch this video.
Black children are borderline retarded.
Read the end score for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were. Who's this for?
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch.
She wore a. Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why.
The majority of black people in America are fucking illiterate. The average SAT score for black Americans is below the national average. You niggas will spend thousands of dollars for these flunking fucks to go to prom. And this is how they perform academically. Niggas will put more effort into playing basketball and rapping, acting an ass and being a dumb bitch than education and basic forms of communication. We glorify speaking as if slavery just fucking ended, and then have the audacity to ask for reparations. I will forever endlessly shit on black people because you niggas choose to be retarded. Do better, niggas. Black children are borderline retarded.
I mean, the point, like I said, and the delivery may not be for you. But if you're looking at this video and that doesn't concern you, then you really are not part of my audience. This kind of bleeds into the next video that I'm going to play you, which got a huge amount of response from my audience and my particular comment that I put on it. I mean, thousands and tens of thousands of impressions on it. But this is where we are at now, to the point where family and education in the Black community no longer is seen as a value to the community. And it's the sad part, because it's the education. If you don't have the family, then the best you can lean on is being educated, being smart, being able to process the world that you live in, because that helps you achieve a bigger goal. It makes you want to do bigger things. And I think that we're spiraling, and I mean that African Americans are spiraling downward into a place that is going to be hard for us to pick back up. But we have examples of craziness, and I know some of you guys saw this video, but this gentleman, this lady decided to, and it's funny to me because I can't believe that these people record themselves trying to rebuttal common sense claims and throwing accusations of racism at common sense. Let me play this video, and this video was incendiary on my feed just because I had a simple comment on it, but it is so visceral and definitive of where some of our African American brothers and sisters are at.
This white man was being racist. I'm about to respond. This is his handle. I'm going to tag him if I can. Here you go.
Look at this EBT ghetto hack at Longhorn. Mom and her kids demolishing basket after basket of free bread, filming it like a pro tip, then bouncing without ordering shit. Straight up teaching her little ones that dining out means mooching, unlimited rules, and calling it a win.
That's a new trend in cheesy Parmesan bread, but it was so impossible to buy it. The prices was sky high. So we sat there and ate their complimentary bread. I made sure they was good. That way I didn't have to buy anything. We ended up leaving without spending an arm and a leg on meals and still made memories.
No shame. All clout. Pure ghetto buffet behavior.
This is exactly why white people would never bother me to the magnitude that they bother some of my people, right? Because I see their lack of intelligence. I see their mental disabilities. And I understand that a lot of y'all was created out of incest because you are very much exactly who you think that we are, which we are not, right? I've always found this conversation weird because y'all get up here and y'all say, oh, look at this ghetto. Look at this EBT. Baby, all of that was created by your people. If you really go do your motherfucking history on Black people, we had shit. We had morals, we had values, we had structures, we had schools, we had banks, we had everything that y'all could ever want. But guess what happened? White people came and bothered us. White people came and dropped bombs. White people came and raped men, children, animals, whatever you could get your hands on. So who's the true issue, Caucasian man? Because my Black women was not behaving in certain ways until they got what? Manipulated through what? Integration. Let's talk about it, Caucasian man. If you don't want us around so bad, how about y'all leave our environment?
Okay. That was painful. And I can't watch it because it's sad that this young lady, she truly thinks that what she's saying is groundbreaking and that it's truth. This is where we have fooled our community into thinking this kind of nonsense. We don't have morals. We don't have shame. We don't have civility. These are the tenets of a civilization. Now, I made a comment, and I said, quite frankly, and there's no stuttering when I say this, that there is a huge difference between nigga culture and black people. Okay. And that needs to be differentiated to a lot of people, because it seems like the more fantastical videos that we're seeing, there's a lot of black fatigue. This goes back to episode 1 of What's in the Feed, when all of a sudden there was all kinds of stuff that popped up in my feed where videos like this are now prevalent. And videos like this are now prevalent because we're starting to capture this stuff on tape now. And it's starting to multiply to the point where we're getting the general public, and it doesn't have anything to do with white, black, Mexican, whatever, is starting to see the exposure of what has, the downfall of what has happened in certain segments of the black community. And that's, we have a splinter of the black community that, with that lack of education and with that lack of family, has turned into ignorance. And that's the best way to say it. I don't want to insult, any race or any peoples. So my equivalent of it was as simply as like, this is the equivalence of trailer park trash when it comes to white people. There are two groups. You've got affluent millionaires, and you've got cultured people, and then you have the people that are just hillbillies and trailer park trash. And in our case, it's niggas. And it ain't a good look. And it does not represent well on the majority of black people, whom are hardworking, normal, civilized human beings who work hard and take care of their family. We need to get away from glorifying, because we spent years and years glorifying the thug life and the extravagance of the rappers, and it is not a true representation of what actually goes on in the black community. And it's starting to be misrepresented because all we see are the negative parts of the culture. And the negative parts of the culture being exposed, I think, are a good thing. But it is going to be an uncomfortable conversation that we're going to be having for a long, long time to come. Now, hey, everybody loves the Candace Owens beef. After my interview last week with the angry Long Island vet, he posted up this video. He had mentioned it in the episode, and here's a little bit of further information that he dug up on George Farmer, the husband of Candace Owens. Check it out.
A lot of you guys didn't understand my post yesterday or didn't even know who George Farmer was. So let me introduce you to him. He's a British-American entrepreneur and businessman, former CEO of Turning Point and Parlor. He's also married to this lovely lady. Now, George Farmer has a media network, but they don't own it. These guys do. And the actual owner's information is actually masked through what's called GDPR masked, a standard privacy service. See, GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. It is a technique used to hide information to comply with European policy. I'll say that again. It is a technique used to hide information to comply with European policy. So Candace marries the former CEO of Turning Point, who's British. And he doesn't even own the rights to his own media network. And not only that, they hide who the actual owner is using British policy. I wonder why she's so angry about Erica Kirk. And how ironic is this? She always bitches about foreign influence, while she herself is hiding her own foreign influence. By the way, nice shiner.
Good one. Always insightful information from the angry Long Island vet. He may pop up now and then. He is a friend of What's in the Feed, and he's a very busy guy, but he does tend to post a lot of great content. So angry Long Island vet on TikTok, which is his main platform. Speaking of which, by his suggestion, I did develop a TikTok account. So now I'm on TikTok. Let's not forget, and here's a little bit of housekeeping. You can get What's in the Feed on Rumble, now available on YouTube, also available weekly as a audio podcast on Podbean, and we will be posting short clips of the show on TikTok now. So there's multiple platforms for you guys to be able to get this free content weekly, maybe twice weekly. And I encourage you guys to take advantage of that. I know that there's a lot of options out there. And that's why I wanted to try to make a platform that was original, that was entertaining, that was different, so that I could differentiate myself from all the other great, podcasts out there and all the other great shows out there. Popping off on that, Laura Loomer continues to gather information on Candace Owens, and it's this is one of the most recent posts that I bookmarked, and that was that it says more insults and deflection from Candace Owens, because Candace Owens has not officially been able to rebut the majority, actually I would say all of the information that is coming out that Laura Loomer has released. And Laura finds this nugget because Candace was on her show this week asking for donations for her legal fund because now she's being sued again. You want more information on what's going on with Candace, you go look yourself, because I don't have time to waste my time with Candace Owens and her legal situation. But apparently the Candy cult has been called upon to give her donations. And then Laura Loomer discovers this. Now, Laura Loomer, as you know, discovered 2 multi-million-dollar homes that Candace and her husband's organization have wrapped up in a shell company or tried to cover up in their lawsuit with the Macrons. And that's got to be deadly and deafening for them, because they were trying to hide all of the assets that they possibly could so that the Macrons didn't get their hands on them. I mean, if we have to use Alex Jones as an example, you saw how his lawsuit turned out, and that Candace could potentially be on the verge of losing everything. But then we find out that Candace has these luxury vehicles. So it says, why are you asking people on your show for donations for your legal defense fund after you were served with another lawsuit? I tracked down vehicles that are one of your multi-million-dollar mansions in Nashville, and you have nearly 100 million. You have 1 million in luxury cars. So she's listed out all of these particular vehicles here. It's a 2023 Land Rover Defender worth $130,000, 2025 Range Rover worth $200,000, 2021 Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT worth $2,200. or $220,000. I'm sorry. A 2021 Ram truck that's worth $160,000 and a Cadillac Escalade worth $200,000. So Candace, while she's asking for money from her fan base, seems to be quite wealthy. And I think that I find it funny that it's just a continuation of this grip that I see from Candace. And we will see how that all matriculates and comes to fruition when this new lawsuit gets to court. Now, on some real news to end the show, we have a stunning blow to the Democrats cheating. And you heard of this Supreme Court rules on the radical gerrymandering that has been happening in Louisiana. I'll play this clip for you real quick, and we'll come back on the other side.
We do from the U.S. Supreme Court. We've been waiting months for this decision, okay?
Every week.
Yes, there was a question before the court as to whether or not a state law in Louisiana intentionally created a second majority-minority congressional district in violation of the 14th or 15th Amendment, specifically whether or not they created a district that would help African Americans in two separate parts of Louisiana. The justices have rendered their decision. Shannon Bream is now live going through it, and she has the verdict. Shannon, good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not Black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These two districts that were minority majority, essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts, and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented Black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had two of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-Black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan, Sotomayor, and Jackson.
Now, I will tell you that I'm going to mention the importance of the midterms here. And this is very simple. We could potentially lose power. And if we do lose power as the Republican Party, then what we would be going to would be worse than what we went through the 4 years of Biden. You can only imagine in your nightmares where we would be right now had we not elected President Trump. However anyone feels about the situation with Trump or the decisions that Trump has made, there are legitimate criticisms of some things that he has chose to do. But this is the way that life works. Sometimes the hard decisions need to be made. And that's why we choose leaders like President Trump to make them. And in my opinion, he is the greatest leader in my lifetime. That is my personal opinion. But we need to be diligent with making sure that we get out and we vote, and that we continue to push for representation that is going to represent us, we the people, America first, MAGA if you want to call it. We need to continue the spirit of making America great again. If we need to change the term to America first, I am fine with that. But I am imploring everybody in the sound of my voice not to let go of the midterms. Keep the midterms in your mind, in your comments, and continue to encourage everyone you know that is in your cipher the importance of retaining our House and Senate seats. Because if we don't, the target is us. Everyone that spoke out, everyone that supported Trump, we will become the enemy. And I mean that in the spirit that's intended. We watched a video from Dan Bongino earlier, but about a month ago, he stated, and you may have missed it, that a lot of us out here, including myself, as influencers, the people that I use video footage from, the people that I source information from, we're all on a list somewhere, in some database somewhere, for when they're ready to take retribution on all of those who supported Trump. And they say it outright. You can watch it on CNN. You can see it on MSN. The second they get back in power, we'll probably all be tossed into a Gestapo. You see what they did with the people from January 6th. No one could believe it. We had no power to help any of the people that got caught up in that. And it is just a base fact that should they ever get back in power again, they're going to stack the courts. They're going to blow up the filibuster, which we should be doing. We should be getting ahead of what they would do. That, oh, we're not going to do it because we don't want them to do it, is the weakest argument that I've ever heard, because we know they are going to do it. They're foul, disgusting, demonic human beings that don't give two shits about anybody's freedom or liberty or life, as we discussed earlier. They don't care. And we will be the target. And this scares me, but it won't stop me, and it won't stop all the rest of you from standing up for what you know is right and what is good and what is fair and what is legal. Well, that's going to be it for this show, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. As I said, there's a new TikTok. This will be up on YouTube. This will be up on Rumble, exclusive, and this will be on Podbean. I need you guys to support. There was great response to last week's episode. I'm hoping that there will be continued fellowship here. A lot of followers, a lot of good response back. You can see everything's been improved here. Just, a little bit of spring cleaning. The video and the lighting was a little bit wacky last episode. This episode, you should see a marked difference on the quality of the recording and everything. The settings had to be tweaked a little bit. And I really do appreciate your support. I do. It is you, once again, you that provide the content for this show. And I try to shout out as many of you as I can. And I try to use you by name when I can, especially if I'm using one of your exclusive videos. But there's a lot of information out there, and it's weeded through, and it's reshared and everything. So if there's a piece of information or there's a source that pops up here and I didn't mention your name, you let me know. And maybe what we'll do weekly is we'll do the shout out list, where we just shout out a list of names. That way everybody feels like they're included in What's in the Feed, because What's in the Feed is the show that is your show, that is provided by you, that is made by you. And I appreciate every one of you guys and your hard work on your posts. So that's it for this week. I appreciate you guys tuning in to What's in the Feed. We'll see you a little bit later.